So you did it. You dropped some serious cash on a pair of the latest carbon-plated super shoes. You know they're supposed to make you faster, but are you really getting everything you paid for? What if I told you the biggest gains aren't just from lacing them up, but from literally teaching your brain how to use them? Yeah, we're talking about a software update for your feet. Let's get into it.
And this quote just gets right to the heart of it. We're not talking about getting stronger or fitter in the way you normally think about it. This is all about reprogramming your central nervous system, the software that's running the whole show, so that it works with the incredible tech in these shoes, not against it.
You know, most of us runners spend all our time working on the hardware. We're building the engine, right? A stronger heart, bigger lungs, more powerful muscles. And look, that's absolutely essential, don't get me wrong. But with these new shoes, there's this whole other frontier, the software. This is about calibrating your brain's signals, literally fine-tuning the neural pathways to the specific way this shoe works. It's a whole different kind of training.
All right, so why is this software update so important now? Well, to really get it, we need to look at just how radically running shoes have changed. We've gone from a simple cushion to a really complex spring system. And this right here, this is the key, the whole ballgame. Your old running shoe was basically just a pillow you strapped to your foot. It was there for one thing, protection. The Alphafly and shoes like it, they are a completely different beast. They're active, dynamic machines that are designed to store and return your energy.
This lays it all out perfectly. With the old school passive shoe, all that energy from your foot hitting the ground just disappears into the foam. It's gone forever. But with an active shoe, that slick combo of a carbon plate and those AirPods acts like a battery. It captures your energy when you land and then fires it back to launch you forward. But there's a catch.
You know the best way to think about it? A trampoline. Anyone can hop on a trampoline, sure, but to get that crazy, effortless height, that double bounce, you have to time your jump perfectly with the trampoline's rebound. If your timing's off, it just sucks up all your energy. It's the exact same idea with these shoes. If you're not tuned in, you are not getting that bounce.
Okay, so how do we get that double bounce? How do we actually run this software update? Well, it all comes down to 3 key pillars of CNS tuning. These are the core mechanics your brain needs to learn to get the most out of these shoes.
We're going to break down stiffness, which is all about getting your muscles ready before you land. Then we've got timing, which is about getting in sync with the shoe's natural rhythm. And finally, stability, which is all about teaching your brain to handle this tall, kind of wobbly platform. So let's dive into that first one, stiffness.
Okay, feed-forward pre-activation. I know, it sounds super technical, but the idea is actually really simple. Your brain is a prediction machine. It doesn't wait to feel the ground to react. It prepares for that impact before it even happens. It sends a feed-forward signal down to your leg muscles telling them, hey, tense up, get ready, right before you land.
And just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the untuned runner. They land soft, their muscles are relaxed, so their knee and ankle bend and absorb all that amazing energy. It just gets wasted. But on the right, that's the tuned runner. Their brain has learned to pre-stiffen the whole leg, turning it into a rigid piston. So now when they land, the leg doesn't collapse. All that force goes straight into compressing the shoe's spring system. The shoe deforms, not you. All right, pillar number 2 is timing. Think about it. Every spring has a natural rhythm, a speed it wants to bounce back at after you squish it. That's its resonance frequency. The whole game here is to sync your running rhythm up with the shoe's rhythm. This is such a great way to picture it. Look at the left side. That's destructive interference. You're out of sync. You're still pushing down with your calf at the exact moment the carbon plate is trying to snap up. You're literally fighting your own shoe. The forces just cancel each other out. But on the right, that's constructive interference. You start lifting your foot at the perfect microsecond the shoe unleashes its energy, and bam! You get this incredible combined boost forward. And finally, we've got stability. And it all really boils down to this one number, 40 millimeters. That's the max legal stack height for these race shoes. And it's basically like running on high-performance stilts. And that, as you can imagine, creates a huge stability challenge for your brain. So how does your brain deal with that? Well, on the left, the untuned runner is constantly getting these little wobble alerts from their ankles. Their brain is kind of in panic mode, firing all these tiny muscles to keep them from falling over, and that just burns a ton of energy. But the tuned runner on the right, over time, their brain creates this super high-definition map of the shoe. It learns to anticipate the wobble and make tiny subconscious corrections. You stop fighting it and you start riding the rail.
Okay, so we get the what and the why. Now let's get to the good stuff, the how. How do you actually do this software update? Well, it all happens during a very specific type of training session we call your calibration run.
Now, before we get into the drill, this is the most important thing to remember. A calibration run is not a workout. It's not about your heart rate. It's not about your pace. It is a data gathering session for your brain. You are intentionally feeding it sensory info so it can start writing that new software program.
And the drill itself is super simple. It's a 3-step process we call quiet, quick, short. First, we're going to learn to run silent to manage our impact. Then, we'll use high RPM to dial in our timing. And finally, we'll use a float visualization to let the shoe do all the heavy lifting.
So step 1, run silent. The cue is exactly what it sounds like. Just try to make your footfalls as quiet as you possibly can. Why? Because a loud, slappy foot strike usually means you're overstriding and landing on your heel, which fights the shoe's natural rocker shape. Running quiet forces you to land more on your midfoot, right on the shoe's sweet spot, so you can just roll through your stride nice and smooth.
Step 2, high RPM, low torque. Now, this one's going to feel a little strange at first. The cue is to run at a very slow, easy pace, but with a really fast leg turnover, like you're at race cadence. Think 180 steps per minute or even more. And here's why this works. That combination forces you to have an extremely short ground contact time. You just don't have time to sink way down into all that foam. It trains your body to pop off the ground super fast, and that starts to sync you up with the shoe's natural rhythm. And the final piece of the puzzle is step 3, the float visualization. This is all about a mental trick you play on your brain. As you're running, just imagine the ground is scorching hot lava. Your goal isn't to push off it, it's to lift your knees and get your feet off it as fast as you can. This little mental hack does something incredible. It shifts your focus away from pushing with your calves and instead makes you lift with your hips. And that lets the carbon plate take over the job of propulsion, which is exactly what it was designed to do. So, you've done the drills, you've fed your brain all that new data. So what's the payoff? What's the big reward for all this? You unlock a sensation that elite runners talk about all the time, the float. And this is where the magic happens. When you are truly tuned into these shoes, your perceived effort just plummets, even while your pace stays the same or gets faster. That pop you feel stops feeling like something you're doing. It feels like an external force, almost like a little invisible hand on your back pushing you forward. And maybe the weirdest part of all, you almost stop feeling the shoe. It just becomes a seamless, weightless extension of your own body. So the next time you lace up those expensive super shoes, ask yourself this question. Are you just running in them, treating them like any other shoe? Or are you taking the time to tune your software, to get in sync, and to really start flying with them? Because the difference is everything.